there's been a lot of intrigue about Notre Dame quarterback recruiting. It has improved significantly under Marcus Freeman. And when you go after the high end guys, there's going to be ups and downs in recruiting, which a lot of Irish fans don't deal with very well, but some do. They understand the process. Where do we stand right now with Notre Dame quarterback recruiting? With obviously CJ Carr's within the program. We've talked a lot about Deuce Knight. Noah Grubbs is an exciting player. Is Notre Dame in kind of an interesting spot right now?
It is, because I'll tell you what, Darren, Notre Dame 2027 quarterback recruiting is fascinating to me right now.
Wow. Okay.
It's fascinating to me. And then here you are, and it's like you have three different classes that Notre Dame is actively involved in with quarterback recruiting, and they're all completely different. They're all completely different. You got Deuce Knight, who's been committed to Notre Dame since last September, and that's on paper. It still seems like it's been quiet here in the past week. I think we're all kind of like fatigued on it. It's like, what else is there to say? Is he going to flip or is he not? That's just kind of where we're at. He's visiting Auburn this weekend. That's Deuce Knight, the elite passer from Lucedale, Mississippi, nation's number 33 overall player, number 7 quarterback in America per the On3 industry ranking. And then, does he visit Ole Miss? Does he visit Notre Dame? Like, when does he make a decision on what he's going to do? Is he going to shut it down? I'm kind of like, what am I to say? Let's just wait and see what happens. There's been chatter that Knight could do something by the end of the month, going to Auburn this weekend. We will see where things stand when we do the same conversation next week, Darren. I'm sure we'll discuss Knight. I'm sure we will discuss Deuce Knight one way or another. So you have that. All quarterback recruiting discussion is about 2025, but then you have Noah Grubbs committed in the 2026 class. I just got to see him a couple weeks ago. I'm going to go back. They have a game against Lakeland, Florida High School, which is a powerhouse team in the Sunshine State. It's like, I have to go down to that game. So I'm going to see Grubbs and his Lake Mary squad against Lakeland High School. Grubbs is a really good player. I'm right. And before we hopped on this video, Darren, and your radio show, I was writing an article on Noah Grubbs from my recent conversation with him, and South Carolina offered him a few weeks ago, and Ohio State wants to get him up to campus, but Grubbs, I pretty confidently can say that he's solid with the Irish, not entertaining any other visits, tells me he's not talking to other schools. That one should look good for Notre Dame. So you got the wavering quarterback commit, you got the solid quarterback commit, and then you have the 2027 class where it's just getting started. And Notre Dame has a handful of I shouldn't say targets. They haven't offered anybody yet, Darren, but I wrote an article last night, Notre Dame 2027 quarterback recruiting notes. The Irish just have a lot of highly rated, highly coveted guys who are just interested in Notre Dame, but Gino Guidugli and the staff don't want to, and these are high school sophomores we're talking about, Darren. They don't want to offer any of these guys until they see some early sophomore tape. So Notre Dame could move quickly on 2027 quarterback recruiting. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's just I'm a recruiting junkie, Darren, but just to see you have 2027, what you're doing in that cycle is just completely different. 26 in a different spot than 25. And the staff kind of has to juggle all three things at the same time. I don't know, fascinating to me, but I do agree with you. Quarterback recruiting, you keep Deuce Knight or not, it's in a better spot. They're evaluating earlier, making moves earlier, well-defined plan. Like when I talk to these top 2027 quarterbacks and I say, hey, where do things stand between you and potentially getting a Notre Dame offer? Every single one has told me the same thing. Notre Dame told me that they're going to evaluate early sophomore tape and go from there. And I hope I get that offer. It would be a big deal. Whereas some schools may have offered a dozen 2027 quarterbacks already. But I think the Notre Dame offer is going to hold more weight because these kids know about Notre Dame's process in that recruiting cycle at the position. And if you get that Notre Dame offer, that's going to be pretty special because they're not throwing around like Halloween candy on October 31st. So I think most of the listeners and viewers there maybe don't care about 2027 quarterback recruiting right now. So call me a recruiting junkie, but hey, and I know it's like, oh man, 2027. We're talking 2027, Mike. Are you kidding me? It's going to be here before you know it. And I always say that people who follow recruiting, you might have less hair or more gray hair because you do so, but you are a more informed
Yeah.
Notre Dame fan. You're smarter, you know more, than the average fan.
Texas A&M, Notre Dame Saturday night. Anthony Knapp, Sam Pendleton, Adon Schuler, some of the starters for the Fighting Irish. Now on defense, there's going to be a lot of moving parts, so maybe who's starting is not a major deal as in past year.
I'm pushing back a little bit on that right away.
All right,
it would have been very, like, for Schuler and Gray, it would have been very easy to slap an or on there.
True.
Right? Like they did with Burnham and Traore. They even did with Price and Love. They did at all the receiver spots. You just throw the or on there, and now we're not talking about it. For me, my takeaway is, and I don't have depth chart reactions except for the first one. After that, the coaches don't really give a crap. They don't really update it unless there's an injury. They're not going to change the or. Let's say Greathouse gets 90% of the slot snaps. What is it, Jaden Harrison? Let's say he gets 9. They're not going to ever change the or. It's just going to be there. For me, in my opinion, I only care about that first depth chart because they just don't really change it from there. But for them to say no or for Christian Gray and Jaden Mickey, no or between Schuler and Hurd or Talich, I think that's kind of saying this is our guy here. Now, will those guys split some snaps? I'm sure. But to me, I kind of see that as a statement, Darren.
Okay, very good. I like that. What are your initial thoughts on what we're going to see Saturday night from a Notre Dame perspective?
I think we're going to have a low-scoring game.
I agree.
I think it's going to be one that is going to be ugly. I don't think you're going to feel great about the Notre Dame offense after that game. I think Notre Dame is going to come out with a narrow victory, and you're just going to be like, thank God we got out of there with a win. I don't think Texas A&M is going to look particularly sharp offensively. Notre Dame's defense is outstanding. A&M has a really strong front. I think Notre Dame gets out of there. Man. Darren, what's the over-under at? Do you know off the top of your head?
Last time I checked, it was 46.5.
Yeah, see, I was thinking it could be under 40.
It was 49 this summer.
Now that I've said that, go ahead and take over 50, just because, I'm not a good sports bettor, but yeah, but I still do think you could have a game where both teams are in the teen, like a 17-13 or like a 20-7, something like that, where it might look ugly. Darren, first games just make me so nervous that it's just they're completely different teams in week 1 than they are week 11 or even like week 6 or 7. Like Florida State losing to Georgia Tech. Florida State might be a really good team, and they might go on a run here. They still could come to South Bend, just a one-loss team. But week 1, it's just it's a tricky one, and you're doing it at A&M with 6 starts on your offensive line. But I still do like Notre Dame to win. I don't care what the score is. Just get out of there with the W, and then they're good. Darren, and talking to different sources around the Notre Dame football program on the recruiting side of things, beating Texas A&M would be huge. It would be huge. Because you know what's going to happen if Notre Dame beats A&M? They're going to go on a run. The schedule is, I don't want to sleep on Purdue and Louisville and even Georgia Tech, but they should run through those teams and set up this huge showdown against Florida State. And it's going to be a massive recruiting weekend. So, things aren't going to crumble down. Like, touchdown Jesus will still stand if Notre Dame loses to Texas A&M. But it'll, touchdown Jesus will shine a little bit more if Notre Dame beats A&M. Does that make sense, Darren? Like, it's so big for the program. Go and beat a ranked SEC team on the road. Statement win for Marcus Freeman. They got to win this football game, Darren.
And you guys will have boots on the ground in College Station for that game.
Oh yeah. Of our full four Blue and Gold staff members, I'm the only one not going.
Wow.
Kyle Kelly will be there. Sobel will be there. Horka will be there. But I'll be live right here in my office recording our post-game show afterwards with Tim Hyde. So really looking forward to that. So yeah, make sure you lock into our Blue and Gold YouTube channel.
And for my listeners, you can find that show on the YouTube Blue and Gold channel. And you can
Yes.
watch some post-game analysis with Tim and Mike. So for all the people that are hearing all these Blue and Gold reporters will be in College Station, for people that are not subscribers, how do they take advantage of all those guys being down there in College Station?
I think I talked about this last week, Darren. We got our deal of the year going on right now. And it is half off for an annual subscription that comes out of a value of just $4.99 per month. So 50% off your annual subscription comes out to $4.99 per month. And the promo code is kickoff24. So go to blueandgold.com. Make sure you use that promo code where it asks for a promo code or discount code or whatever it is. Annual subscription, half off. So that gets you through this season, signing day, spring ball next year, official visit season next summer. Just do it. If you can afford it, do it. You won't regret it.